Hello and a warm welcome to the epic and iconic Watkins Glen for the latest round of the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Championship. Beautiful weather here, late August, with me Ben Sissel. We're getting to that point in the championship. Rafa Matos has been on an absolute run, 4 victories so far, but there's an opportunity. There's a chink in the armor, if you will, because Thomas Merrill, the 2022 champion, is in pole position for Watkins Glen. Friday race, and also I noticed Annunziata starting where he should have started so many other races on the front row.
Yeah, finally, Thomas Annunziata doing it right. But here we are, Mission Foods, Watkins Glen SpeedTour, and Rafa Matos, who we know knows how to win championships. But he didn't tell me he was disappointed to be qualifying 9th, but he obviously is, especially when his biggest competitors are right here up front.
I'm going to say, even though I painted a dark story about an opportunity for somebody else, Rafa Matos has got so many great victories under his belt here, and he is superb here. I'm going to head off to the booth. I'm going to let you talk to some of the drivers. We are racing very soon here from the Glen.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. The Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. This is going to be the grid walk, fan walk. Thomas, we were talking about this. This is exactly what you needed to have happen here for the points race.
Yeah, no, we're stoked. I'm glad it stuck. I'm glad you didn't jinx me earlier in qualifying, actually, so that was pretty cool. But no, I'm starting up front at the Glen's always fun. I love this place. This should be a great race. It'll be different. The racing this time of day, it's a lot later than when we normally race, so that might play a factor for us. But I'm racing for my buddy Jason. He's watching at home. Jason, I hope you're feeling better, and stay strong, buddy.
Yeah, Jason, your cars are very fast. You're doing really well. We're coming over here. Look at this. Thomas Annunziata strapping in. You know, we were talking about that. One thing that's happened, Thomas Annunziata is always super fast, but he's had a couple races where he's been forced to start from the back. In fact, Nick Tucker, come in here real quick. Let's get Nick Tucker here, the crew chief of Nitro. We were talking about Thomas Annunziata, maybe the fastest driver in the field, but he's been having some rough starts. So you're starting here front row. That's got to be up to the plan.
Yeah, it's certainly encouraging. We've had a tough year of mistakes and faults that have caused us to have to start in the back for various reasons. So today is refreshing. We get to be on the front row, and the kid will have a real shot to win this thing.
Nice, I love it. So Nick Tucker there with Nitro, Thomas Annunziata with the ChriswellFord.com. Then we talk about the Cube 3 Architecture. The TA2 Series, Cube 3 is on this. Carson Quapple, very fast. He was with us on the podium at pit race just a few months ago. But the funny thing is, he was out there, he qualified 3rd, then he had a mechanical. I think his right front went down at turn 10 and then ended up going into the wall. So not sure what's happening there. But then we've got Jake Drew. Jake Drew with silver hair and Franklin Road doing really, really well. Jake Drew with silver hair. Sorry about that, we're having a little bit of technical, it's my fault. But Jake Drew doing really well. We've got Laura here talking about the silver hair and the Franklin Road, but Jake Drew, we were talking about this every track we go to, it's his first time there. So what kind of information are you giving him?
Well, basically the main thing he's doing is looking over the data from last year's race with Ryan Isabel, our engineer, Gil Martin, our competition director, and he's showing such speed, first time here, so we're just going to pray and be hopeful.
Nice. I love it. I love it. So then we've got Ben Mayer here. Ben Mayer strapping in, obviously very fast. He's got the 2 pole awards from this season. But Ben Mayer, you take the green. What's your strategy?
I'm just going to try and survive the first few laps, and it's definitely going to be a tire preservation game. I just want to take care of my tires, so hopefully they'll be good at the end of the race, and hopefully I can put her up front.
Nice. Well, there's Ben Mayer. So we've got Josh Hurley here, but something I want to talk about is our Pro-Am. We've got the Pro-Am drivers coming back here. We've got Adrian Lostowski, Doug Peterson, Jimmy live on the scene, obviously with Michelle Abadi. You cannot miss this car. The Ghost Energy, the Lucas Oil. So talk about Michelle Abadi with Nitro and the Pro-Am. What are you expecting, Jimmy live on the scene?
Well, Michelle Abadi's Lucas Oil Ghost Energy car is going to save tires today, and we're going to win this race.
Nice. So Jimmy Live is saying it's all about saving the tires. So Jonathan, that's some strategy. I'm going to send it to you in the booth.
Yeah, that's always the case. And Ben Mayer just getting us into the intricacies of Trans Am and TA2. It's 100 miles, but that's, well, a lot of laps, and it's basically a sprint endurance. That's how I like to describe it, because 100 miles is a lot more than a sprint, and that's why those Pirelli tyres will start to go full tank of fuel, remember, and they are going hell-bent for leather. Now, it all depends, and that's what Ben Mayer was alluding to, is to get through the first few laps, because you want to fight for position, you want to fight for a settled position, but as we take a look at the grid here, Thomas Merrill really needs this HP Tuners Coke cars against the Bayshore Mortgage and Nitro Motorsports car of Thomas Annunziata, who, to be fair, has been the man on form. He's just not been getting the starts in terms of qualifying. He's been doing some other races, Xfinity, etc. So coming in here, Row 2 sees Carson Quapple and Jake Drew, both capable of winning, both youngsters all fighting hard to get their position. Ben Mayer starts 5th. Josh Hurley alongside him, the coach turned driver. Lostowski and Austin Green, Rafa Matos and Tyler Casera. Work to do for those two Nitro boys. Tyler and Rafa, I expect them to work forward together. Doug Winston, Cale Phillips, Michelle Abate, you heard from her engineer, Bruce Raymond. Then Ty Young on the next row, and alongside him, Brian Scheibel coming in with Alliance Autosport in his first time in the championship in the Pro-Am, and Keith Prochuk has been sent to the back, having qualified 11th. He got a penalty, and none of the laps that he got in qualifying counted. So Keith Prochuk, also with HP Tuners, sort of literally bookending the two sides of this grid, with one at the front and one at the back. So we wait to go racing, get that start command. And the drivers absolutely love racing here at Watkins Glen, and they're lucky in terms of the weather too. It's perfect conditions. It's getting hotter, to be fair. Qualifying took place earlier today at about 11, so it's definitely warmer now. And so again, Ben Mayer rightly pointing out that tyre management will be key, because it's hot, it's tricky. There's a lot of fast corners in this particular track, and there's a lot of places you can make mistakes. That's the thing about this circuit. There's a couple of stop and goes. There's some really fast turns. Here's a look at the championship. Rafa Matos at the moment has a 129-point lead. That's comfortable, but it's possible to score over 100 points in each weekend. So Thomas Merrill is far from out it. And look at Annunziata, who starts alongside Merrill for this one. And remember, Annunziata leading the young guns as well. He, of course, raced last year, so he's not in the rookie hunt. But he is in the young guns, and there you see it. Annunziata on 6:37, Ben Mayer in 6:24, Jake Drew 6:05. So we've got a battle royal at the front of this one. Boris Said Jr., not out of it, 4:78. He's had a good season, one of his best so far, certainly in Trans Am. Really impressed with Junior, and Dad will be racing this weekend, so double duty for Dad. He's watching the kid, and he's also out there himself. So looking forward to seeing the mighty Boris Said, who's got a fantastic record here, of course, at Watkins Glen, having done all those years of NASCAR right here at the Glen. So, calm before the storm, getting lunch out, getting lunch put away, whichever it is, or a quick skateboard ride to your favourite spot. Pro-Am Challenge, look at this. Barry Bowes is flying at the moment. Just one on the west coast has Barry Bowes. Tommy Sheehan chases him down, but look at the gap between Sheehan and Prochuk, nothing. And then Gerard Odrick with a win last time out at Road America. He now is in the hunt, just a few points behind Prochuk. Let's head down to Ben Sissel for the start command.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Mission Foods Watkins Glen SpeedTour. I'm with my friend Juan Gonzalez of Mission Foods. And Juan Gonzalez, today is your birthday.
Yeah, I'm happy. It's 67, the new 35, and I'm racing today in IGT. So what a better birthday.
And we were talking, you've been racing here since 1991. Yes. Mission Foods is celebrating 45 years, and now you are just all over the place, all around this track. That's got to feel good.
It's always nice to be supporting motorsports, and especially SBRA, Trans Am, IGT, Formula 4, all the classes that we do together in this group.
Now, if you were following along, Juan just got out of his car, was on the top step of his Podium in International GT. So I know you're a huge fan, but Juan, deliver us the most famous words in motorsports. So take it away, sir.
Drivers, start your engines!
Yes.
So less than 5 minutes to go as the muscle cars of America roar into action in 2024. It's been this way since 1966, and I think we've had 46 Trans Am races here in that time. So it really, truly is a fantastic series, and Watkins Glen a huge part of its history, and Juan Gonzalez doing it proud, getting the engine started, having just got out as a class winner in his group in IGT. He'll be back out again in action tomorrow. But now let's turn to our biggest championship, TA2. It's been a really fascinating last few years, dominated by the likes of Rafa Matos and Thomas Merrill, but then the likes of Gunnar Zilic, now in Xfinity full-time in 25. Brent Cruz, our current champion, similar age, just slightly younger than Zilic. He too now making his way as a Toyota development driver, has had a win in TA. He tried TA for the first time. So right now, Toyota just trying to get him in any car they can, just to give him as much experience at 16 as he possibly can. But yes, it's been a championship that has been about the experience of the likes of Rafa Matos and Thomas Merrill, and then the youthful exuberance and the learning of the youngsters. And of course, a lot of these youngsters are in Rafa's team, for example, the Nitro Motorsport team with Ben Mayer. Tyler Casera is a coach for those drivers. And to a certain extent, with a diversity scholarship, so too Rafa Matos. So he's bringing his knowledge. There's the Hendricks Motorsport car, painted the same way as Kyle Larson. An homage, if you will, to Boris Said Sr. So we head out on this famous Watkins Glen circuit, but it's tricky, and one man who knows it well is from Brooklyn, New York. His name, Adrian Lostowski, as he takes his round, the Tricky Glen.
Hey, my name's Adrian Lostowski, the driver of the CMI Ford Mustang, and today I'm going to show you how to get around Watkins Glen. Turn 1 is really fast, brake hard, you really want to get down to your apex. It's banked, so you definitely want to touch the paint, and it sets you up for the S's. The S's is a no-lift area where you're going to be doing 160 miles an hour plus going into the bus stop. And a bus stop, you usually slam through that at over 100 miles an hour. As you approach turn 7's a hairpin and going uphill, so you could definitely get in there faster than you think. So a lot of drivers brake early. You don't want to brake early here, and you want to get good rotation to get a good run going up the hill. Turn 10 is probably one of the most fun corners of the track, and it sets you up for 11. Turn 10 is over 100 miles an hour, and then going into 11, and you're back to throttle, and the closer you get to the wall at turn 11, the faster you go down the straightaway. I'm Adrian Lostowski, and that's how you drive Watkins Glen.
And watch out for the CMI spot-on serve Ford Mustang of Adrian Lostowski in the number 3, and that number is because of his hero, Dale Earnhardt. So there you go. Lostowski enjoying the All-Star race a couple of weeks ago at Lime Rock, and we'll be watching out to see what he can do. But he talked about turn 10 being over 100 miles an hour and fun. It is. But not when you have a puncture, as Carson Quapple did in qualifying. Right in his last run, last lap, literally, he had a right front go down, and he went straight on at over 100 miles an hour into the gravel. Luckily, it's a big gravel trap, and he made it all the way through the gravel and didn't hit the barrier. So he is A-OK and will start third in that Team SLR M1 race car Chevrolet Camaro. Ben joins me back again. It's pretty hot out there, or hotter than it's been anyway. And Ben Mayer, I think, said the poignant remark to you, which is, I just want to get through the first laps and manage the tires. It's kind of box standard for Trans Am, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've noticed that the Nitro team are all talking about tire management here. I was talking to the Nitro guy, one of the crew guys earlier, and he shined his laser on the asphalt. The asphalt was about 98 degrees. The concrete, the pit lane, was about 10 degrees cooler than that. So as they come up here through turn 9, through turn 10, we're on board right now with the Ghost Lucas Oil car of Michelle Abadi.
Yep.
I love the day glow gloves, but
yeah,
Jonathan, it's been a while since I've gotten to do a TA2 race.
I
with
know,
you
it's
in the
exciting.
booth. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, the championship hitting the business end now as we go to Watkins Glen, Canada up next, and of course VIR and Coda still to come. Still time for this man Merrill to make an impact on that Rafa Matos championship lead, and the same is true of Annunziata. So a front row start that is all important. Rafa Matos was very casual after qualifying, not disappointed. He just said, I've just got to keep scoring consistent points, so don't expect any hero time from Rafa. He'll just want to finish this race, but don't count out the Brazilian. If he gets a start, he'll be away, and into turn one they go. And it is Merrill that leads the pack. Annunziata goes round the outside and off track for a second. Austin Green goes way off track, and he's under pressure now, but Austin Green slots back into what, fifth place in the three-dimensional services, number 89.
That is totally legal. We talked about that in driver's meeting. That is kind of the NASCAR line with Austin Green doing the Xfinity Series. It totally makes sense. In his position, it was faster, but we saw Ben Merrill kind of taking a risk there that he said he wouldn't do as they come into Cube 3 Architecture's bus stop.
Yep, the first time into the bus stop, and as you heard from Lostowski, it's over 100 miles an hour as Bose goes round. Winner last week in the West Coast, and now parked up with several cars involved. The man from Austin, Texas, in trouble.
Yeah, that is not good.
He's trying to get it going.
Yeah,
he's got it going.
He's got it going. They're there at the Cube 3 Architecture bus
stop. Oh, he's
stop.
got a puncture right
the
rear.
Cut tire. Yeah, you're right, Jonathan. Cut tire. But I also saw Adam Andretti going through the grass, so I hope he wasn't mixed up in that. But we did see Jake Drew move up a position. So Jake Drew in third.
Several cars involved. Barry Bowes with a broken. Let's have a look at the viewpoint, if you like, from Adrian Lostowski. We might learn something here. See what you see, Ben. Lostowski running in, what, 8th at the moment? Let's have a look.
Yeah, that's right now, that's going through the heel
of
that's
the live,
okay. So Lostowski there right behind. Well, that's Ben Mayer and Josh Hurley. So I didn't really get to see anything from Lostowski.
And behind them is Rafa Matos. So Rafa Matos doing exactly what he said he does. He's already made up a few places already at the moment. No, he stayed where he is. Is that Andretti going very wide?
That's Hurley.
Hurley, yeah.
Yeah, and there are no track limits here except for the blend line. So they are able to run over the curbs. Sometimes they find that to be a lot faster, but also re-entering the track. A lot of the drivers aren't expecting it. So watch out for something to happen there. There's Austin Green. Barry Bowes trying to limp that back through.
I was right. Rafa Matos did make up 2 places. He's 7th behind Mayer.
There's Tyler Teixeira there in the number 40. Yeah, you're right. He's just ahead of Josh Hurley.
Yeah. And there's Tyler Teixeira at the 40. Lostowski behind him has dropped to 10th. Boris said 11th. Tommy Sheehan, then Gallagher, Peterson, Sabato, Caton, Phillips, Weisberg. Prochuk has already made it up to 19th, having started at the back, haven't been given a penalty. I think, Andretti's gone out.
Yeah, and, Prochuk and Barry Bowes are really going at it in this Pro-Am, as is Sheehan and Jim Gallagher and Jared Audrey.
But Bowes is out. That changes everything.
It really does. There we go. Good shot of Boris Said Jr. there in that HendricksCars.com. But now we're back on board with Adrian Lostowski, coming through one of the most challenging parts of Watkins Glen, the boot and the laces of the boot. There's Prochuk.
So that's not lasted long. He got up to 19th, and it looks as though, I don't know if that's a separate incident, but the HB Tuners Coke car, race car, one is leading, the other is parked. As you can see, he's trying to get it going. Here's the 27, trying to get that back out. That's Barry Bowes, and obviously that was a nasty hit to the rear.
So we're at full course caution. I'm hearing from race control right now, Tim Richter in my ear. They're doing a thing called Code 60. So all the cars have to slow down to 60 miles an hour so that the safety crews can go out there. That's with our Flagtronics units. They're seeing that on the dash. They can see these Flagtronics units. But, Jonathan, another crazy start in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, but just what we wanted. Thomas Merrill, though, leading the way. His teammate is out. Thomas Annunziata still in 2nd place. Jake Drew got a good start, and don't ever count him out. Might be his first time here, but Jake Drew seems to pick up circuits very quick indeed. Quapple in 4th. 5th place, Austin Green. Ben Mayer still 6th. Rafa Matos is up to 7th, and that's classic Rafa. He'll be happy with this sort of saving of the tyres, if you will, because each lap under caution just, gives you an extra lap where you don't have to push the tyres. And one thing that has taught me about Matos's craft is he's always got something in the last 10 laps.
Oh, yeah. Now, Lake, if you can hear me, cameraman at Mission Foods Turn 1, the grass on the front grills. We have a ton of grass on Thomas Annunziata and Jake Drew.
Look, Ben, he's good. He's,
Yeah. That bottom grill.
There
we go. There's some there.
Don't challenge him. He'll see you and raise you.
But what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is these cars could, especially with Thomas Annunziata, who's in second place, and then third place, Jake Drew. I saw a lot of that on that under grill part. And the cars will overheat if that's blocking too much of the air. It's not super hot out, but it is hot enough that the cars will overheat, Jonathan.
Well, we've seen this at Mid-Ohio, haven't we, many times before, is if you get too much grass in that lower grill, like you say, the heat comes in, especially under caution like this. The car's getting hotter, not cooler at this point, because all the heat from each of those cars is going backwards and into the other car behind. Now, if you've got grass on your grill, it's just hot air going in, so you're not cooling anything. And the only time you cool anything is at over 100 miles an hour.
So you will notice probably these NASCAR drivers that know they're going to get right up behind the cars, not at this speed, but once the cars go up to speed, if they get right up behind them, it'll kind of suck that grass off, as we see Michelle Abadi.
You can kind of do it in braking?
Yeah,
it's
barely.
Not. I'm talking about in caution. Could you accelerate, brake hard,
maybe,
accelerate,
but the grass is probably sucked into there.
Okay. So we're under caution at the moment here at the Glen. You can see they are fixing the fence at the bus stop. So we're under caution here at the Glen, and it's just past the bus stop that they're fixing the fence, where we've had some drama already. Several cars involved, including Barry Bowes and Adam Andretti, but a couple of cars a bit beaten up. So we're under caution, full course caution. Here's another look at it from Michelle Abate's point of view. Abate was about 20. Yeah, it's all happening in front of her. Car to the right of her, car in the middle of the field, that's Barry Bowes, and Andretti's car coming back on here. So it was quite a...
That was the Barry Bowes first incident.
Yeah. And I think there was a second, wasn't there?
Yeah. The next lap came around to Keith Prochuk, who
and that's Prochuk's car there,
is, I believe, leading in the Pro-Am Series.
All right, well, let's take a look now at another angle, and we'll do it from Barry Bowes. Now, we should get the story full here. So Barry Bowes, we're on board with him. He gets turned around in the middle of the course. He turns in right and gets turned around. There you go. And it was Andretti that hit him in the 41. Now, whether Adam was hit from behind as well, it could have been a concertina almost. You can see that Adam keeps going there. What a shame for both of them, because both of them having a great season. Barry Bowes just winning on the West Coast last time out in Portland. And he is leading the Pro-Am Championship, so it's turning out to be a big year for him.
So it looks like both of these drivers that I was really concerned about were able to get the grass off of their front grill, which was Thomas Annunziata, Jake Drew. You know, we spoke to Jake Drew earlier. Just like Brent Cruz a couple years ago, every track that he goes to, Jonathan, is his first time going there, and we are really seeing talent from Jake Drew and that silver hair team.
Yeah, I think this is like his 7th race, no more. I mean, he was on the podium the first time out. I mean, he's had every circuit he's gone to, he's been competitive. So I'm really impressed with Jake Drew. He's got great ARCA experience. He was a champion on the West Coast in that championship. And so, you know, like a lot of Annunziata, Cruz, and Zilich, they're all looking for opportunities in ARCA, in truck racing, and in Xfinity. I spoke to Austin Green. He's having a good season in Xfinity. He's coming back here, actually, so this is kind of a warm-up to it. And I was comparing the cars with Austin Green about, you know, how they go about it. Not so sure about ARCA, but he says that the NASCAR, the Xfinity, is a lot heavier and more powerful. So this is, you know, a good way to, you know, get your head around it without risking too much and without, you know, going that level up to Xfinity and getting lost.
I'm hearing from race control that the cars are supposed to bunch up. We're going to go green next time by. The wall is fixed. But that might be canceled because look at this. They're having a hard time getting them onto the tow truck. So one thing I did notice.
That's because Keith Prochuk's at the back of that trying to pull him back off.
Maybe, yeah. But I did notice a donut on the side of Thomas Merrill, the left side of Thomas Merrill's car, meaning he got hit from the left a little bit that I didn't notice when I did the grid walk. So somebody's gotten into the side of Thomas Merrill, our leader. So not sure what's happening there. And you can see that the safety crew's really just struggling to put Keith Prochuk up onto the tow truck, the flatbed tow truck, as they will look here. A great shot of the Cube 3 Architecture's bus stop with the mission signs there. And we do have Friday. We have a pretty full crowd here at Watkins Glen.
Yep. an important race for Thomas Merrill. He's had a win at Road Atlanta, of course, but it's been an up and down, consistent year for Thomas Merrill. But as I said at the start, this could be an opportunity for him, but he doesn't want Rafa Matos to creep any closer to the front. Currently in 7th, there's the Pro Chuck car being loaded up.
We don't talk about Adrian Lostowski enough, but man, it's been really neat to see. He won an SGT championship with us a few years ago, moved up to TA2, but he is really getting fast, Jonathan.
Yeah, no question about it. I feel for Keith. It's been a good season, and like you said, that Pro-Am thing has kind of just created a competition we didn't have before and really, really opened it up. Lostowski goes from strength to strength. Home race for him, of course, as he gave us the track map, and he's in good position here. And great onboards here from the Glen. So we're under caution here, and we'll hope to go racing very, very soon from our TA2 race.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Welcome back to the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 race from Trans Am, that is, for 2024. We're at the Watkins Glen, one of the most iconic circuits in the world, I would argue, and certainly in America. And we've got Trans Am, the longest road racing series in America, as Thomas Merrill, our 22 champion, leads them to green again. Chance for Annunziata, Austin Green, jinks out, Quapple in third in the grey and the red. And round the outside goes the 17 of Quapple. Annunziata goes wide, but just about holds on for second. No, he doesn't. Up the hill, it's going to be a drag fight between those two. Quapple trying to make, trying to make his way through on Annunziata, but Merrill is away at the front as we go back on board with Lostowski.
Adrian Lostowski coming here to Cube 3 Architecture bus stop.
So they file through the bus stop. Austin Green in the hunt, Ben Mayer in the hunt, and just behind that is the American Concord flagpole of Rafa Matos, our championship leader, by 129 points.
Great shot of Bruce Raymond and Michelle Abadi coming through that carousel. Very difficult to drive the carousel as they come into the boot section as Bruce Raymond just to the right of her, running that Optima Batteries FM3 marketing Ford Mustang with Michelle Abadi, you know, like we were talking about with Jimmy live on the scene, really trying to conserve her tires and let this race come to her, doing a great job coming through the toe of the boot, which is a very difficult part of this circuit.
Yeah, it's been fun watching Michelle Abate for the last few years. She's a work in progress by her own admittance. She's learning her way. She went from the West Coast to the National. She didn't know if she could handle it. She did a few races and then came back. And every weekend, it's a learning event for her. She's had injury, she's bounced back from it, and she has been superb to watch race. Our lone Nevada female racer.
Well, Jonathan, what I'm seeing right now is that Thomas Merrill and Rafa Matos are the fastest cars on the track. Thomas is really gapping them, but you can see this little group here of Annunziata, Jake, Drew, Quapple, Austin Green, Ben Mayer is really holding up Rafa, which is really working in Thomas's favor as he's just gapping him even more.
Well, and the question is, you've got to ask yourself, if you're Annunziata, do you go after Merrill, knowing that, the championship's on the line and he's chasing it, he's also leading in the young guns, or do you just wait because it could be that Merrill pushes like like crazy now in these laps, and then suddenly we get another safety car, and all the hard work and all the grip he's lost is played into Annunziata and those behind him. Whoa!
Josh Hurley and Rafa Matos going side by side into the Q3 bus stop.
Master and pupil. Of course, Josh Hurley, a coach a lot of the time. He was our E champion a few years ago. Got a chance to go for the real thing, and he's getting some real action against our two-time champion, Rafa Matos. Great stuff.
I think that was no harm, no foul.
Yeah, there you go.
You really have to watch out for that side-to-side contact because it can cut a tire. We've seen that earlier in the season, but Rafa Matos away. Now he's got a lot of teammates to go through and former teammates like Austin Green.
Yeah, and it's not in the teaching manual, though, for Hurley, that bubbing and rubbing, but it does, it's a bit of fun. Into the boot and down towards the heel of the boot they go. And it's Merrill, Annunziata and Drew, as it was at the beginning. And Quapple drops to 4th now, Green 5th, Mayer drops to 6th, Matos up to 7th. He and Hurley having Hurley-Burley, if you will. Casera 9th and Mostowski rounding out the top 10.
So there's Rafa and Hurley. And Tyler Casera, who considers this his home track. Yeah. Watch for Tyler Casera. His whole family's here, but we are on board with the man from New York, Adrian Lostowski.
Yeah, and by the way, Pro-Am being led by Tommy Sheehan now. The Ironman leading the way with Barry Bowes out of this race. So important points in the in the Pro-Am series.
Nice. Well, that's really good for the Vixen cycle. But
Bowes
look at
still
this.
Out there.
You can see Barry Bowes is now he's back out there getting points. So this is really smart for Barry Bowes and that M1 team.
Well, they're lucky that there was not more damage to the right rear because it hasn't bent it. They were able to put another wheel on it, and as you can see, he's currently circulating in 25th position. There's Boris Jr. Dad'll be here, biting his fingernails and watching the clock, getting ready for his TA race.
Yeah, that gap is increasing every lap just by a little bit. But Jake Drew is really trying hard to get around Thomas Annunziata. There's only about 2 or 3 really good passing places here at Watkins Glen, or you need the driver in front of you to make a little bit of a mistake.
Bouncing over the curves at the bus stop. Field spreading out now, and of course, as the race goes longer, we've got 30 laps of this. We're only into 7, and you can see how long the tail is of this group, all the way down to Abati in 22nd in the all-can't-miss in the Dayglow Yellow. So it's going to become a bit of a war of attrition. But the guys, I would say anybody in the top 10, or even 11, is capable of winning this race.
Yeah, but right now, I will tell you, Thomas Merrill has a really fast car, and Rafa's got a lot of work ahead of him. He's got a lot of really fast drivers to get ahead of. But Jake Drew, his car looks really connected too. He's just got to figure out how he can get around Annunziata. But sometimes here at a track like Watkins Glen, like a turn 1 passing zone, if you try to duck out, then that might open the door for Quapple also. So you also have to go in defending and trying to be aggressive.
I don't know what they're feeding him in the Silver Hair stable, but it's good hay, that's for sure. They did it with Connor Zilic last year, and they're doing it again with this man, Jake Drew. It's pretty impressive stuff by Silver Hair Racing, Maurice and Laura. That combination there. And it's a team dedicated to helping youngsters get through to the future. And they have had many of the current Cup car top men come through their stable and try Transact.
And speaking of that, Carson Quapple, we're going to see him racing on Sunday and a lot of other series professionally. He's here racing with Team Chevrolet with M1. Very good driver. Was on the podium with us at Pit Race, and we've seen a lot of talent out of him. But look at this. We've got Ford, Chevy in the top 4.
Well, of course, his dad was a trucks champion back in 2003. So he's a chip off the old block.
There's Josh Hurley with BC Race Cars. Blaze isn't here with us this weekend. He will be with us next weekend at Canada. So, Blaze, we miss you. And then there's Austin Green. Austin Green looking really fast here. Another one of our more strategic drivers. He might let this race come to him, see what's happening, and look for him in the last 10 laps to really move up a little bit.
What I like about Austin Green, he's a mild-mannered man, as it were, when you speak to him, but very aggressive when he needs to be in a car. And, yeah, you're right. He is just quietly going about his business right now. He's in a good position. He's in 5th place, just kind of watching at the front, watching behind, and just seeing how this all unfolds. But there's no question. Now, Thomas Merrill, the man from Salinas, California, has a 2.5-second lead already.
This section that they're here, Dorsey Schrader was telling me about this. They have a bridge going under the track, and there's big bumps there right at the wrong place. So a lot of people can be knocked off balance there coming out of turn 9.
Yeah.
Look for that to become a factor as the fuel wears out in the cars.
Tunnels under racetracks are always a problem. There's only so much you can do. And you're right, every track that seems to have a tunnel seems to have a big bump in the middle of it.
Yeah. So coming through Mission Foods turn 1, Jake Drew just looks hooked up in that Franklin Road Apparel silver hair Chevy Camaro. And looks like he's just trying to bide his time behind Thomas. But the problem is, we have seen, even though we were at full course caution early, we have seen a lot of these races go without cautions. And it looks like Jake Drew and Nunziata, those top 3-4 behind Merrill, might be waiting for that, and it may never come.
Well, Thomas Merrill has a great record here, the 22 champion, but of course his father raced and is a big part of Laguna Seca. His mother raced.
They both race
yes,
currently.
And they do currently. And his brother raced a tractor up Laguna Seca last weekend, I found out.
Was it a Porsche tractor?
No, it was just a regular tractor. They're farmers, after all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good story. So Jonathan Merrill, Ross Merrill, and Tom Merrill all racing. And even Mum Merrill continues to race in club racing. Great stuff. But it is Thomas leading the way, and like I said, this is turning out to be an important weekend for him. Merrill trying to extend that lead. He's got the gap now to 2.6 seconds over Nunziata in second, and Jake Drew in 3. Well, you can see the gap yourself now. And it's healthy this early on in the race. And knowing Thomas, he's such a smart driver, is Thomas Merrill. If he needed to knock it off a bit, he would. He's comfortable out there. The car looks fine. Annunziata, we've seen, come from the back at Lime Rock and various other races, is capable of pushing on. But I think he's smartly thinking about his own Young Guns Championship, and that's 20,000 points. And also the position he's in, trying to catch Rafa. As long as both of them stay ahead of Rafa, they're going to take points away from him.
$20,000 is the Young Guns competition.
Exactly.
We're right on board with Michelle Abadi here. Coming up, this is that section I was talking about through turn 9, and now you're going to see a little bit of a bump here as they come around right about here. They're going under a tunnel, and there's a bump there that could really knock the cars off and then into that wall. But you can hear her car right now sounds really good. That Nitro Motorsports Ghost Energy Lucas Oil car of Michelle Abadi.
Yeah, that previous corner was where Clappel went off this morning, and luckily he avoided the barrier, and that's why he's out there now in 4th place, just ahead of Austin Green. And it's great to spend some time on board, complete lap as we go into turn 1 again. And there's Austin Green.
Quapple. Quapple's having some problems coming into the Cube 3 Architecture bus stop. I think he went straight through.
Yes, he did.
And
Look,
he's
there you
got
go,
a
the
mechanical.
17. Oh, no, same place as Procha.
Yeah, and this is, he did cut a tire, had a tire go out at turn 10 in qualifying. And it looks like he's got something maybe wrong in the suspension, not sure. But that is not good for Carson Quapple.
His bow tie is a squiff. He's got a little bit of grass that you mentioned. Somebody else has taken
Jared
Odrick.
Now, Jared Odrick went against the rules. If you go through the bus stop, you're supposed to come to a complete stop.
Oh, really?
And that's John Weinberg there.
So we welcome back our map viewers, and you missed a bit of drama because we've lost 2 drivers through the bus stop in the last minute or so. Odrick got back going again, but we still don't know what happened to Carson Quapple, who got going again in the 17, but did stop effectively in the middle of the bus stop. Well, no, in the middle of the off-run of the bus stop.
Yeah, that used to be a straightaway all the way into the carousel, but as cars got faster and faster, as we saw with Tommy Kendall in that Intrepid, it just was too fast. So they added the bus stop a few years ago, and I think it adds for some better racing. But Ben Mayer is under some pressure here from his teammate, and Rafa Matos, the faster car, is going to have to make a pass because he's got Josh Hurley right behind him.
Well, Ben Mayer's grown up, though. He may still be only a kid in my eyes anyway, but he's a very accomplished racing driver. Already had a win at the Worldwide Technology Center and a pole position. So while Rafa is the big mighty Rafa Matos to Ben Mayer, and they are teammates and definitely learning from the maestro, I don't think he's going to just let his teammate through. There's no need for that. And in fact, his teammate's under enough pressure as it is.
Something's going on, though. Josh Hurley and Rafa Matos seem to be a little bit angry with each other. Maybe they had some contact there going into the Cube 3. but I don't see this kind of action from Josh Hurley. He's very usually collected. He's unhappy with Rafa, and it looks like he's a little bit faster coming through those S's, but I did hear from race control the 0-0 Jared Odrick is going to have to do a drive-through penalty as we see Carson come in. You can see that front left. Looks like maybe the A-arm or maybe a suspension piece has come out, but that car, the front left, does not look good on that.
No, it doesn't. No, I'm going to lift it up. But yeah, oh, no, another bus stop not taking the bus. They're not getting bus tickets, these people, are they?
And Doug Winston didn't come to a complete stop. He's going to have to do that. Drivers, crew chiefs, if you're listening, the drivers need to come to a complete stop through that bus stop, or they're going to have to go through a drive-through penalty. As we see Alan Mincy changing the tires on the car.
He's trying to blow the brake discs, can cool them down. Good luck with that. You mentioned Josh Hurley. It's funny, I spoke to him at the autograph session, and I don't know if he's mad at just Rafa Matos, because I said, how are you doing? And he said, I'm mad at myself. And that was after qualifying. So maybe this is just a knock-on effect that he's doubly unhappy now. He's got Rafa Matos all over him and past him, and he's not happy with where he qualified in the first place. So not an easy day at the office for Josh Hurley.
So there's Ben Mayer, Rafa Matos, and Josh Hurley coming through Mission Foods Turn 1. Ben Mayer's looking good now. It looks like just in this last lap and a half, all the cars have kind of spread out a little bit. We're kind of in that middle part of the race that seems to happen in the Cube 3 TA2 Series. But Thomas Annunziata has found some speed, or a little bit closing in on the gap on Thomas Merrill.
Austin Green's just done his fastest lap of the race on lap 11, a 151.9. Not as quick as Merrill, 151.5 by him. So, but that was a lap ago or so. So we're keeping an eye on this battle here because it is the most intriguing. And Tyler Casera, we wish him well because Tyler Casera has been in and out. He's been coaching. I thought it was interesting at the end of Road America that Rafa Matos gave a lot of praise to Tyler Casera for his work with the team, generally speaking, as Wackle does get out.
Yeah, Tyler Casera, just a very smart driver, knows how to analyze the data and giving that data to a lot of the Nitro drivers on his team. So he's a coach sometimes, but today he's a driver. Tomorrow is his daughter's 6th birthday. So happy birthday to her. She got her ears pierced for her 6th birthday, and his whole family's here at their home track of Watkins Glen.
You know, Carson Quapple made his name, like so many others who've come from Mooresville, North Carolina, on the dirt. And he said he's kind of leaving that behind at the moment and sort of doing, you know, he was the number 8 for JR Motorsports late model in 2023, and then earned a Cars Tour late model stock car championship in his debut last year. That's 22 or 2 years ago. And so, yeah, you know, 20 years of age now and making a name for himself, but starting to really make a name for himself, more importantly, in road racing and in stock car racing or similar. And Trans Am is very much a part of that, and he's being noticed, having won championship already.
You see John Weisberg there. I called him Weinberg, but Weisberg there, right in front of Michele Abate, and he's just seemed to be a little bit loose on that one turn at the toe of the boot, and now he's locking up. So maybe look for something there with the brake bias, possibly.
Okay. Well, Abate will jump and pants if she gets a chance, but she's got Barry Bowes behind her by the look of it. Yeah, she does. Barry Bowes has done well, actually. It's caught right up with Michele Abate for 20th position. And the beauty of Trans Am is that you're still running at the end of the race. You're going to pick up some points.
Yeah.
And in the Pro-Am situation, obviously that's important to Barry Bowes. He's currently, what? 7th in Pro-Am. In fact, Michelle he's chasing is also Pro-Am, so he'll want to get past her if he can.
Yeah, every point counts. I love the fact that Barry's wearing those day glow gloves so we can see what he's doing.
Well, that's textbook Watkins Glen. He's made it look good into the bus stop. He just needs to finish it off. He does that, and that was nicely done by Barry Bowes of Texas.
And Michele Abate. And Barry Bowes now lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Does he really?
Yeah, Megan was telling me that today. So, but Michele Abate there, no one to give it up. And that's got to be so frustrating for Michele as the driver who was coming up on Weisberg, but then saw Barry Bowes, the faster car, to give him that entrance into the Cube 3 Architecture's bus stop. Now look at this gap.
Yeah, Thomas Merrill is playing this well. He's taken the gap to, 3.3 seconds, and he's just knocking off the times. He's not pushing too hard. He's still in the 51s. At the moment, and that is faster than most, but as you can see now, the likes of Drew under big pressure from the yellow peril that is Austin Green,
Austin Green is now the fastest car on the track, ladies and gentlemen, and look for him to move up. You can see something on the right front rear quarter panel not connected there in the bodywork, and that could slow him down in the faster sections, but watch for Austin Green to move up. Like I said, a very calculated, very talented driver running in the Xfinity Series this season, coming and doing about 4 or 5 races with us with 3-dimensional, but you can see that bodywork being problems. And look at this, Thomas Annunziata having problems.
I was about to say, I saw something, a little puff of smoke come out of the back of that
and
car.
Ben Mayer.
And Ben Mayer. They're queuing up at the bus stop. Where is this bus going? I can't understand. Everybody wants to get on.
Now, Ben Mayer didn't come to a complete stop, and I think Rafa still stayed behind him. As look, Boris said
Boris
Jr.
said as well.
So,
they're all going off.
Is there possibly something down on the
I'm
track?
beginning
We're
to
seeing the
wonder
local yellow, but this is it doesn't happen this much without there being something
Well, I'll
down
tell you
on
why.
the track.
I'll tell you why. Annunziata, if you watch the replay, and I'm sure we'll get one, Annunziata created a bit of a puff of smoke out of the back of the car as he was approaching the bus stop. You then saw that dissipate, and then suddenly he went straight on as though
Austin Green
he had problems.
Side by side with Jake Drew has the advantage here coming through turn 8. Jake Drew gives it to him, but there we go. Austin Green. Now watch for him to try to make a comeback at Thomas Merrill, because right now it looks like he is the fastest car out there.
Yeah, and of course the youngsters, they all want to battle with each other. It's a bragging rights thing between all the youngsters, and of course these two are 120, 124. And
so that puts Green in second place.
Yeah. Wow, what a turnaround. And it just, the bad luck for Annunziata, I don't know what he has to do.
We're going to go full course caution here, ladies and gentlemen. They think there's oil down before the bus stop at Cube 3, and that's what we were kind of saying. It's just odd that for that many cars to have the same thing happen without some kind of fluid down. But Annunziata's out.
See where the yellow flag is?
Yeah.
That's where I saw the puff of smoke.
Yeah, and that's where Annunziata's car gave away.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means something broke in the engine and dropped some fluids.
And what you don't want is you don't want to come up to this braking point and find there is fluid as you brake, which is what I think happened to the guys like You'll see it now, Ben. Let's take a look at the replay, and this is what I'm talking about. Now, watch Annunziata's car here. Bang.
Oh, yeah, fire.
See?
Yeah.
And now smoke. And so you can see the line he's on. And he quite rightly carries on knowing, but look, watch Mayer. Locks up.
Yeah.
Rafa was lucky. And then I think it's Boris Said Jr. who's the next down the line, and he too, look, straight on.
Yeah.
And that is a lockup. That's sliding.
That was right in oil. So great move by Race Control and Tim Richter and the team to recognize that. And that's what's causing it. But is Ben Mayer going to have to give that position back to Rafa?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the big news is the leader of the Young Guns is out. Amazing story. And in comes the number 20. Quick change of tyres. That's Josh Hurley. So he's been the war. He's been battling hard with Rafa Matos for the start of this race. And not a time to come in, though. You don't need a pit stop. This is not a pit stop race. There is, but you can see, look at that. He doesn't need to stop.
Yeah.
That Pirelli's going P0 nowhere. Oh, dear. Yes, that's why he stopped. I wonder when that happened. Here's Bose. Weisberg ahead of him.
You can see Weisberg struggling for grip or balance. There's something off balance in that car.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bose has easily passed him. This is good by Barry. He's not lost any of his confidence having had that incident. So back with the leaders. They all crunch up again, and Austin Green can sense the opportunity of a win here. And so too, I'm sure, can Rafa Matos. Rafa Matos said to you coolly after qualifying, just need points, just need podiums.
Yeah, he's in fourth
place.
That's what he needs to do, and we've seen him win championships. We saw him lose a championship to Thomas Merrill at Circuit of the Americas. So
and he hasn't forgotten that, I can assure you.
And so, oh my gosh, this is really heating up because you've got Austin Green, Jake Drew between these two, and I really do think Austin Green is in the fastest car out there right now with a ton of talent, so watch out Thomas Merrill.
Well, the irony is, of course, Rafa Matos has won the championship in a similar car, in similar colors, for Doug Peterson.
So then you've got Tyler Casera behind Rafa with Ben Mayer and Adrian Lostowski. So let's see if they can work together as teammates.
Well, that's a good story, too, because Casera, Mayer, and Lostowski have been running in the top 10. Look at Adam Andretti up to 8th again. So whatever happened to Adam in that kerfuffle at the beginning, he scathed through it because he's up to 8. So I thought there was damage, because remember, we saw him on the grass in the 41 Ultimate Headers Chevrolet Camaro. So hats off to Adam Andretti, already a winner in TA early in the season. He's doing both championship, he's doing double duty, and takes part in TA as well, where he won with Burton Racing. They've got new sponsorship this weekend.
Yeah.
So it could turn out to be a big weekend here at the Glen, and of course with the family Andretti in the woods somewhere in Pennsylvania. I'm not quite sure where, but Uncle Mario.
I think Nazareth, right?
It's Nazareth, yes.
The home of Martin Guitars. You can see them cleaning up where Thomas was, but you can see where this white wrecker is. That's about where the oil is. So now hopefully they're going to put some what we call kitty litter down, and that's just basically pieces of clay that soak up the oil so that oil's not there. But really, and you follow racing all the time, that's almost the worst place. Very high speed, right at the start of the braking zone. There's an oil puddle there. Right when they need grip the most, there's the least grip.
You can see how the truck is warding them away from there just to try to get the kitty litter down. But, I mean, where they're putting it now shouldn't really have too much impact. It's just there's a lot of oil there where he stopped and it just dripped out. But they don't want to make it so that if you do miss your braking point, you suddenly then slide through the bus stop and into ongoing traffic that's coming out of the bus stop. I just feel for Thomas and Nunziata. If it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have it. I mean, the Charlie's bloody recovery truck is about the most he's driven this year. Poor lad. He hasn't won a race. He's had a couple of podiums, no wins.
He's had to start. He's been on the podium from the rear of the field. Yeah, so I really thought he was due to this one.
Yeah, I feel for him. But he's great talent. There's no question about that. Just a bit of bad luck mechanically, and we'll try to get it cleaned up as early as possible. Who haven't we mentioned? Doug Peterson going well. 12th position, of course, team leader of three-dimensional services. He'll be pleased to know that his man Austin Green is up the front. And Barry Bowe's doing a great job coming through the field in 16th place now. And his next opponent, if you will, is Cale Phillips. So we'll be keeping an eye on him.
Well, I'm just hearing from race control, there are no lap down cars. Every car is on the lead lap. I don't know how Barry Bowes and that Team M1 did it to replace the tire under a lap. Alan Mincy, he knows what he's doing with changing tires here at Watkins Glen. He's done it many times in the NASCAR Cup Series. So unbelievable, but Barry Bowes to stay on the lead lap and looks really fast out there, so really good. And then we've got Jim Gallagher in 11th place in TA2 Pro-Am, doing really well, currently second in the Pro-Am behind Sheehan.
Well, as you say, Odrick did get a penalty. He blew through the bus stop without stopping and gained an advantage, so unfortunately he has been penalized for that. And of course, Annunziata, lest we forget, has had a win, but at COTA last year, just doesn't have one this year.
So you can see them weaving back and forth, trying to get heat into the tires, trying anything to find grip, but unbelievable. You can see Doug Peterson, we mentioned him there.
Look at Gallagher's car, too. Damage to him.
Got some front splitter, the whole front fender.
Going to do another lap, by the way.
So that's really going to slow down Gallagher. That's not just the splitter, that's that front.
So we're going to do another lap. That's what's going to happen. Right in the middle. I love those Hendricks colors in homage of Dad, who raced for Hendricks. But it's a nice connection, isn't it? He's got to be pretty proud to be racing in the Hendricks colors. There's the grass in the grill that you've been talking about. That's on the 71 car. But Eric Hayden, you've got to watch that, haven't you? There's a few circuits. Watkins Glen is one, Mid-Ohio another. Which would the other one be? I guess Road America.
VIR
really
of
course, yeah.
Roberto Sabato right behind Eric Caton. Look for him. But I really think who we need to watch is the number 16 of Jim Gallagher, because that front bumper, not the splitter, but like right underneath the headlights, that's come loose, and that's really going to affect them going into Mission Foods Turn 1 at the start.
Yep, no question.
Now, I think
and by the way, for those Americans who are tuning in, that's Fender. But thank you, Ben.
Yeah. But I think the kitty litter needs to go further back there.
So, you can see what they're trying to do. You can see where they've identified it. I think it would be going further back than that. But the point is they're trying to show you where the braking point is, and so that you don't go straight on anyway. I think that we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay, actually, because he kind of did get offline once he realized he'd gone. There's Doug Peterson in those great colors. He's the only one without the yellow. He's got the camouflage.
There it is.
There's Gallagher, yeah. Jim Gallagher, one of our many regular guys to the championship. Been doing it for a fair few years, as Jim.
But you don't want that. You don't want your car to be talking, basically, as it's going down the track.
No kidding. Chattering.
Or chewing.
Yes. 16 laps gone then. Merrill, Green, and Drew, your top three. Sheehan, Gallagher, and Sabato. And the point is, Jim Gallagher's actually in a very prominent position. He's on the podium for Pro-Am at the moment, so he doesn't want to go in and fix it or tape it up if he doesn't have to, and if they don't bring him in.
So what happens here, Jonathan? We both know Rafa Matos, and we know the calm, cool, championship-winning Rafa Matos will say one thing at grid, but then in the heat of rock and roll of a race, going into turn one, starting fourth, will he take a risk and try to get around some drivers, or do you think he's pretty happy being there?
Well, I would argue that he knows that Drew and Green are hungry, and he knows that Merrill is steady. I think he will be aggressive at the start. He always is. But I don't think he'll try to make any moves on the two in front of him early. He'll keep an eye on Merrill. That's the prize. That's what he's worried about. That's the man who is in opposition to him in the championship. Green and Drew are in their own battle, and I don't think it bothers him where they finish. So I think he will try to get a podium, but he won't go overboard.
No, there's too much for Rafa to lose by taking a chance. I think looking at it, this isn't going to hurt his points too much if it finishes as is. So I wouldn't expect him to do anything crazy. And then he knows he's got his friend, teammate, Tyler Casera behind him, who he can trust, knowing that he's not going to do anything crazy either.
I think if they're on the radio, they're probably telling Tyler to try to see if, it's to try to be aggressive, because again, Tyler's not in the championship hunt. He may be able to help Rafa, but not now. He can stay behind Rafa, and maybe they'll work together and maybe do a little bit of swapsies and start sharing tire wear preservance, if that's the right word. But you know what I'm saying. In the closing stages, you could perhaps lead and follow over a few laps as teammates and work together to save the tires. The closer you are, I'm told, the more wash you're getting, the quicker you wear down those tires, especially from the car in front.
There's our Pro-Am leader, Tom Sheehan, with that Dixon Cycle Company. I love this new livery of Tom Sheehan. We go green next time by, but she makes biker apparel for women.
Yep. And, it's apparel. It's not bikes.
And I've seen it, and it's really good. But also accessories for women's motorcycles.
Good. Glad they're doing it.
It's a really cool company, and she didn't get to come to one of the races with us because she was at Daytona Bike Week, because that's her day job.
It's so good they're doing that. Day and Easy, who I worked with for many years in MotoGP, were the only ones who bothered to make proper leathers for women.
It's not just racing, though. She also makes it just for the Harley drivers, people going to Sturgis or Daytona Bike Week, but a little bit of everything, but it's really cool.
Well, I think that oil sign will stay out because obviously it's still down. The kiddie litter is down, though, as well, so we should have plenty of grip. I don't see too much problem coming through the bus stop. Everybody's aware of it now. I think you do take as tight a line as you possibly can. You can see the kiddie litter there. I, like you, would have liked it to go further back, but hey, we're not there. They know what they're doing, and it should be fine, I think.
But Jim Gallagher, he's still kind of chewing away there at the front of the car's talking. He is second in Pro-Am. He's not going to want to give that up, because just two behind him is Sabato, Phillips, Weisberg, Bose, Abadi, Winston, and Raymond, all in a row trying to get the next step on the podium.
Coming to green then after this, and we'll go down the hill one more time behind the Ginetta. We're getting to a really interesting part. 17 laps of this race gone. We've had two major cautions, and that's a lot of time at slow speed, but it saves a few tires. It'll mean that there'll be more drivers capable of running good times at the end of this race. Merrill has dominated in those times, 151.4, his best lap so far. And the closest man to him, Austin Green. And as you say, Austin doing that as he came through traffic to get up to second place.
I'll be really surprised if we don't see Barry Bose on the Pro-Am podium. Even though he's back, right now 5th or 6th, in the Pro-Am, his car just seems real fast.
Well, and if you look at what his season has been so far, so safety car lights are out, which means we are going racing. The Ginetta will pull off at the exit of the left-hander, just after the right-hander on the start-finish. Here he comes. So, the race is with Merrill. He's a very hard charging Austin Green, who took a lot of time to get past Jake Drew. So the last thing that Austin Green wants to do is lose that place back to Drew. And so I can imagine that Austin Green will go for it here if he gets the chance. And Merrill knows that.
Everybody else looks pretty good. Like, we're looking at the cars. I'm just kind of looking at their condition, see what the tires look like. Everybody seems like their car is looking really good. So watch out for this restart. You can see Thomas Merrill. He knows he's got a fast car. So he's going to try to take that as late as he can. And it's all strategy here with this restart, Jonathan.
Yep, here we go. Line astern then. Merrill's done it before in the HP Tuners. Number 26. He's got some rubbing from tires already in this race, but now he wants to finish this ahead of Rafa Matos. Green flag waves. Away we go at the Glen. Good start from the leader. Matos takes the line into the first corner. Drew jinks out. Matos also having a look. Cassera follows his teammate, and likewise Mayer also in the same team.
No change through one. I think Rafa kind of thought about it and then thought better of it. We saw Tyler Cassera kind of come to the inside, but now we're on board with Barry Bowes. And right in front of him is he could take two positions here.
He's got Cale Phillips and John Weisberg right ahead of him. He thought about it, didn't he? Flapping hood a little bit, but it's under control. And the Iron Smoke car just in front of him. Now there's the bus stop for the first time in the restart. And like I predicted, no problems so far. Oh, Michel Abate comes side by side with Weisberg there. I'm not so sure how wise that was.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I love that. I think that's my favorite car in the field there is Weisberg's car. That Iron Smoke car. It looks really good. Now we've got Hurley right behind Michel Abate.
Yeah, this is great racing. Look at this. I mean, you really have to have your mettle here to be in this little fray. Abate, though, holding on. She's seen it all before. Boy, they love to race at close quarters in Trans Am. 19 of the 30 gone, so we're starting to get there now with 10 laps after this.
So now this is where people like Rafa Matos and Austin Green really kind of turn it on. They can, something changes in them. So watch out for those two cars to move up. But right now it's Barry Bowes who's already made that pass. He's moving his way up. And Tyler Cassera in 5th place doing really well.
Yeah, I don't see Tyler Cassera putting too much pressure on Rafa simply because they are teammates. And Cassera is obviously coming in for a one-off. He'll play a defensive role, I think, for Rafa. But then again, Mayer's behind him, and they're all on the same team. And what a year for Nitro Motorsports. They had 6 consecutive wins at one point.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable team. There's just so much knowledge and passion there. And then they also, because of Nick Tucker's history and the go-kart racing, he knows where the talent is and the young talent, and they are bringing them to Nitro.
Well, we just saw Gallagher's car go through. This battle continues, a 4-way battle between these guys, and still Cale Phillips holding on in the 99, holding off Barry Bowes, who's already had an accident where he had to come in and get a rear tire put back on the car because he stripped it down completely. He was lucky to get away with it, but they've got him back out there and he's competitive again.
But he's got to watch out. He's got Josh Hurley behind him. And we saw there Tyler Cassera going deep into the later spots of the Q3 bus stop. But here we go.
Phillips, massive pressure from Bowes. You say he lives in that, where did he live there?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. Oh, there you go.
Now they come around. This is another very tough carousel into the laces of the boot.
That's good driving by Bowes. He just was smart enough to just wait until the car was turned enough so he could get on the power early, and look at that overtake. Nicely done, and we were on board with it. Nice to see. But this is good driving from Bowes. I've been so impressed with him, and I agree with you. He's what? Fourth place?
Fourth of the Pro-Am.
Yeah, so he could easily make the podium.
So he's got Sabato in front of him. But look, Thomas Merrill again, just making that gap on Austin Green. So Thomas Merrill, I may have called it wrong. I think he's the fastest car. We see Ty Young up there out of the race in the top of the screen.
Look at these two going at it. This is Young said. And Hendricks 75. Currently in 10th position. He'll want to hold on to that. He's had a bunch of top 10s. But right now, Tommy Sheehan, who's just got past, is keeping him honest. So we've got little pockets of racing all the way through this race, but it is Thomas Merrill, the 22 champion, leading the way ahead of Green and Drew. So still in Pro-Am, Sheehan 10th, Gallagher 2nd. Oh, able to
locking it up there. And he's the one. Jim Gallagher is second in Pro-Am right now, but he's got that front problem. And that could be affecting what's going on mechanically.
Well, certainly if the wind's coming down the front straight, as it often does here, we go on board with Michelle Abate. She's still fighting with Weisberg. And it was getting a little bit hairy earlier on. Flying. For sure. This is going to get interesting at the end here. We've got 9 laps to go, and you can see the leaders as they come through, starting to push on now. So everybody fighting for position, and whoa!
Doug Peterson and Jim Gallagher.
Yeah. I do. I think Gallagher's got problems with the setup of that car, and it's not just the outside piece of plastic hanging off there. I think there's more to it.
And then Barry Bowes, if he takes this position, he's on the podium at the Pro-Am.
Go on. Nicely done. Into the left-hander. Make it stick. Make it stick. Yes, he does. Barry Bowes. Good stuff. Nice work.
And now he's only got 2 cars in front of him to get to the next Pro-Am of Jim Gallagher.
Yeah, and he's got enough laps to do it, too.
But look at this, Austin Green there in the yellow car in the front, Jake Drew and Rafa Matos. Rafa Matos now getting up right behind Jake Drew.
Yeah, and Matos, Merrill controlling this race for Coke Cars, doing a good job. And just keeping that gap to just over a second. It's 1.6 seconds. It has been more than that.
Rafa looks good. That Concord American Flagpole Company car. Now, he used to be on Silver Hair. Then in front of him is Austin Green. He used to race 3-dimensional. So he knows a lot about these cars in front of him. So look for him to kind of move up when he sees a good, high probability pass coming, Jonathan.
Yep, and it's certainly going to start to get interesting in a minute when we get down to the last 5 laps or so here at Watkins Glen. 100 miles. We welcome you back to our viewers on MAV TV as Jim Gallagher trying to hold off Peterson, and he locks up massively into one, and Bowes goes through on Peterson, and Bowes is looking for another scalp here, and he can see the opportunity of getting past Jim Gallagher, and this would be for second place in the Pro-Am Series, with Sheehan leading it still in the top 10.
And Gallagher, it's not a brake bias thing, because it's only his right front that's going off, and that's where his problem is there on his front fascia, so watch out.
Speed, isn't it, for Bowes? Look.
Gallagher has the advantage going in, though.
Yeah. It's late braking, that's for sure. Into the bus stop they go, side by side, and Caton as well. Eric Caton, right in the middle of all of this. Great to see. He's currently in 14th position. Hurley now drops to 15th, then Sabato, Cale Phillips 17th.
Jim Gallagher's car just doesn't feel good. You can tell he's not comfortable in it as Barry Bowes gets around him. So Barry Bowes, second place in Pro-Am. We never would have thought that lap 2.
It's going to need a safety car, I would have said, for Bowes to catch up with Sheehan, because Sheehan's pretty predictable. And there's the gap between the leaders. There's a battle on for second, third, and fourth. You're looking at it right now. Austin Green in second, Jake Drew, and then our championship leader, the number 60 of Rafa Matos of Brazil.
Really impressed with Jake Drew this season.
Yeah.
Just he races the car like a veteran. He makes really good, calculated moves. Is always kind of there at the end of the race. Just a lot of talent there. I don't know where Silver Hair is finding this talent as well.
In North Carolina.
Yeah, unbelievable from Jake Drew. Just he really is racing like a veteran, and that's got to be really frustrating for a veteran like Rafa Matos.
Well, he's getting a lot of miles in. That's the key. Different cars, and I think that every engineer, every mentor, coach, etc., tells me that you can't. There's no substitute for just laps. It doesn't matter whether it's a Miata, a bicycle, or a full-on muscle car. I'm being a bit facetious when I say bicycle, but really, laps is what really matters. And the more horsepower, the better, and the more time, seat time as we call it, the better. Austin Green, though, under massive pressure in these closing stages. It's far from over, this one. Merrill, though, in control. He's taking it up. He's taken another second out of Austin Green chasing him, and now the gap is 2.6 seconds. So this is very much how we expect Merrill to go racing. He's a smart cookie, is Thomas Merrill, as Bowes still under pressure from early.
But Tom Sheehan is now in sight of Barry Bowes, so Barry Bowes knows that's his top step in the Pro-Am, as Hurley is desperately trying to get around Bowes.
Look at this. Weisberg, Odrick. Well, Odrick's recovered well. Remember, he had to get stop-go penalty for going on at the bus stop.
And he won in Pro-Am at Road America last round, so he's really fast in that black underwear Ford Mustang of Jared Otten.
Well, there was a lovely picture of both Rafa and Audric, both from Nitro Motorsports, and that must have been a wonderful moment for Jared. You know, he's only really just started his racing career. He's an ex-NFL player and an actor, and you know, a very colourful character. But to be there with one of the greats of Trans Am, in fact, not one of the greatest, he's got a record number of wins as Rafa Matos. So, yeah, I think that was a big moment for Jared to be in the same team as well, because that's who he's learning.
Yeah, and I will say this from talking to Jared, he is the most competitive person in the
Well, you don't get to the NFL without being competitive.
Yeah, and exactly, and he's very competitive with himself, and you know, that it's that kind of drive that will really make for a good driver. So if he stays with us here, which I really hope he does, great guy to have in the paddock. Expect him to really be, you know, on the top step in the podium a couple times.
Well, as you'd expect from an NFL player, he's a big lad, so I think Trans Am does suit him because he's tall. Well over 6 foot. I'm not quite sure exactly how tall he is.
Much bigger than me.
Yeah, big guy. Boris said Jr. just did his quickest lap of the race, and obviously as the fuel load goes down, that's going to help. 153.042. That one on lap 22, so hopefully a good finish for him. Really impressed with Tyler Casera. He'll want to hold on to a 5th place here and prove to the world that he is worthy of TA2. And if you're watching at home, Tyler Casera is a good guy to get behind from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he got a 2nd place here at Watkins Glen a few seasons ago.
Gallagher
won at
locking
VIR,
up again.
Gallagher, that car just does not, it looks really upset.
It wants to go home, doesn't it? Look, he's everywhere. He's trying. I'll give him that. He's trying to hold on to it. He'll get it. He'll nurse it home, but whether he'll get on the podium, I'll tell you what, if he makes the podium, I'll be really impressed.
Yeah, because I think that's going to end up cutting
Odric's going to go past him.
You got Weisberg right behind him.
Sabato, yeah. They're all lining up, aren't they? And even Nabato wants a bit of the action. So we've lost Annunziata, we lost Quapple.
Ty Young
early on.
Ooh, a lot of smoke going into the toe of the boot, and I think that's still Gallagher. He can't do that. He's going to just wear out those tires.
Michelle has to take avoiding action. Getting some great onboards from her, though, in this race. She's been in the thick of it. It's funny, when you get back to the midfield, you realize just how hard they're racing back there.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they don't get the glory every day.
This is way more difficult than what Thomas Merrill's doing.
Right.
Thomas Merrill's car, he's loving how the car is set up. He's loving every minute of it. And Michelle is just out there in the thick of it.
They're all chasing a car that is just not capable of going fast as all those behind him, and they're trying to tiptoe past him. Odric gets past.
Surely Gallagher's going to come in.
Well,
no, he's not. But that's
it's getting worse though. Look, it's rubbing on the right tire.
The inner sidewall.
See, look, as it rubs on the right front tire, it also turns the left front tire the other way. So he's now got bodywork rubbing. Look, that right-hand side front.
Michelle just passed 4 drivers.
It's taken Michelle out. Under braking, round goes Abate. And well, that was like an episode from the Sphere in Las Vegas. That's where she hails from, but she did a good job.
Just passed 4 cars in the last corner, and then it's all back. She's got to do it again.
Great stuff. Big moment, and we caught it on board. Welcome back to our coverage. It's been unbelievable so far. We've got plenty of drama going on. Michelle Abate's just done a complete 360.
Lots of damage there.
How she got away with that, I'll never know.
Yeah, unbelievable. Good save from both of them there.
Yeah. But that was Gallagher's fault. She went into the back. You could see the damage to the rear of Abate's car, and now she's got... here we go. We'll go... As she comes into turn 1, she gets hit from behind, and watch this. Round she goes. Awful.
What a save.
What a save. Good girl. That was tough. That was very tough. That is good driving. Very good driving indeed.
And now watch what happens to Cale Phillips here. See this Mustang on your far left. He gets some real good front end damage. So you can see there Gallagher going into her. She makes such a great save. Sabato goes out, but I'm trying to figure out where that happened to Phillips' car.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. You're right. She got that damage actually at the end of that. So all sorts of drama going on here as we go back on board with Michelle Abate from Las Vegas, Nevada, who's already had a spin and trying to keep back on the same lap, but she's done it. Her and Gallagher came together. Jim Gallagher struggling with a broken car, and now likewise Abate's doing the same. Meanwhile, the battle for second, third, and fourth is far from over. Merrill, though, very much in control of this race. He's won this season earlier in the year, has Thomas Merrill, but he hasn't done a lot of winning, and he needs to do some more to close that gap. His last win at Road Atlanta.
Here comes Phillips in. You can see that front end damage. So that's Cale Phillips coming in, unfortunately. He was running really, really well.
So just 4 laps of the 30 to go here in our Q3 Architecture TA2 race from Trans Am. It had plenty of drama, but Thomas Merrill, for the HB Tuners, number 26, Coke Cars, is leading the way by 3.9 seconds. This is what Mike Coke was hoping for. Austin Green, Three-Dimensional Services car, is in second place, and Jake Drew, a healthy third place for his first time out here at the Glen. Meanwhile, the championship leader is circulating in fourth, and pretty much probably happy there. He's got his teammates behind him. They can keep up the rear guard, but here is a rather bitterly damaged Jim Gallagher in the number 16. So that's been through the absolute ringer, hasn't it? Look,
yeah, and we saw
he's got
that
to come in now.
We saw that coming 10 laps ago.
Yeah,
it just keeps going, but this time it folded into like the inner sidewall of the car.
Well, we were right about Barry Bowes. He's now up to second place, chasing down. There's a place between him and Hurley, between him and Sheehan, and that is Josh Hurley. And Hurley now passing Sheehan, but of course Josh Hurley is in TA2, and so now that leaves the battle between Sheehan and Bowes.
Getting some great information from our producer. Speaking of Jake Drew, who's currently in third, I think his grandparents kind of put a second mortgage or remortgaged their house so that he could go racing. So ladies and gentlemen, how are you not rooting for Jake Drew right now?
That's a good line. Yeah, well, that's a common story. Tyler Casera, you know, when he started out after the pandemic, was racing just with his dad and family. Literally, it was a 3-man team. And so there's a lot of really good stories here throughout the paddock of people just trying to make ends meet, to go racing, to do what they love, to follow their passion. Barry Bowes is definitely one of them.
We are in the very late stages of this race now. Can Barry Bowes, that's the car he needs to get around to be the top step of the Pro-Am, which
I'll tell you what, if he wins this, that's incredible.
Oh yeah, that'll be an unbelievable comeback, and especially for that Team SLR M1 Cars team to be able to get him back out there on the lead lap. Just unbelievable.
Scott Legacy is delighted if he does this. This is really good. Of course, Barry Bowes second in the points, so he wants to hold off Bowes.
Now, I got to tell you a story. We came out of driver's meeting, and Tom Sheehan slapped Barry Bowes right in the rear, and Barry said, "Ooh, I'm going to return that on the track." So, ladies and gentlemen, watch out here. This might be happening in real time. Unbelievable. Barry gets right behind Tom Sheehan in that Vixen Cycle Company car.
Well, certainly in a good position to do so. These two are going to go all the way for the last 2 laps. Hurley has pulled away from them. Sheehan second in the Pro-Am points, about 100 points behind Bowes, and that's still enough to catch up with the amount of races we've got left. It's one of those times in the season as Austin Green almost gets it wrong there coming out of the bus stop.
Both of them took a loose line.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to push each other. I think Drew is trying to force Green into a mistake. Green hanging on that.
They're so light now. They're almost through with their fuel weight, so the cars are set up totally different. And like we were saying, Jake Drew out there in third place, first time out here. But, you know, I was saying he drives like a veteran. We see there Barry Bowes around Tom Sheehan. So there we go.
He's
unbelievable from Barry Bowes.
That is really impressive. But it must be living in Tennessee. Here we go. Here's a replay of it, Ben. Pretty textbook, huh?
Yeah, he's just going to maybe outbrake him. He comes in really late. Oh, no, Tom Sheehan went late. Tom Sheehan just missed his mark just a little bit. And it's just little things like that.
That's all it took, yeah. And that's a classic place to go into hot. And back on board with Bowes. What a story this is turning out to be. He's got a couple of laps now to make it happen. Meanwhile, here comes your leader, and look at the gap he's got to Austin Green. There's a possibility that Jake Drew could do something before the end, but I think this is how it's going to end. And I think this is quite fine for Rafa Matos, who will lose some points to Merrill, but he's not going to worry about that. He's got a haul of points himself as Rafa Matos, and he's done exactly what he said he would do with you, which is just take the points and go home.
Yeah, which is very smart. Championship, ladies and gentlemen. There's a different strategy to winning a race and winning a championship. I was talking to Brent Cruz about that last year, and he won a lot of races this first year. Then he wanted to win a championship his second year, and he took a totally different approach, and that's what we're seeing here with Rafa Matos. Thomas Merrill, there's nothing he can do. It doesn't matter how big of a gap he wins by. The points are still the same.
Well, the big news story for Ben Mayer, a previous winner already this season, he's in, sixth place at the moment. And with Annunziata not finishing this race, that's really good news. They were both, he was 13 points behind Annunziata at the start of this one, and, behind Thomas Merrill. And with Annunziata out, that means that Ben Mayer will get ever closer to Merrill and should be third in the championship after this. Peterson.
Yeah, Doug Peterson, Eric Caton with that Ray Skillman Auto Group, a car dealerships out of central Indiana. So Eric Caton, I think he's their parts manager there, and they're sponsoring him to come race with us in TA2. So great story there. So if you're in central Indiana, please go by or look at cars at the Ray Skillman Auto Group.
There you go. Well, this has been a masterclass by Mr. Merrill. And he's going to power that HB Tuners number 26 with ProChuck having problems. He's flown the flag for the HB Tuners team. And Mike Cope race cars. And this is a typical Merrill performance, isn't it?
Yeah, and I got to say, Thomas, his friend Bowser, his crew guy couldn't be here this weekend. So, Bowser, I hope you're watching. I hope you're super proud of Thomas Merrill. I'm sure this race is for you, buddy. We all miss you and wish you were here. Can't wait to see you again. But, man, nice job from Thomas Merrill.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the board. He got a good result at Road America. He got a second place there, having started fifth. But he's only had that one win at Road Atlanta. So this is really going to, there's been a long break in the summer. You've kind of got time to think about it. It was 129 points. Matos actually getting around Jake Drew, so he has pounced at the right moment, has Rafa, and that makes a big difference. Boy, we'll be looking at Coda and going back to Watkins Glen and going, remember that third place that Rafa got?
Yeah, unbelievable. We got a slow car here going around the carousel, but it looks like they're both going to be able to get through there. But unbelievable. Just another great Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race here at Watkins Glen.
No question. Into the boot for the final time then. Thomas Merrill leading the way. And a healthy lead too. A good result though for Austin Green. He's consistent at getting podiums. He's just yet to have that win. Coming down, just a few corners to go. We'll let Ben head down to Victory Circle. And we'll bring Thomas Merrill home. The man from Salinas, California. He's had a great few years in Trans Am. Hasn't won in Trans Am here. I was asking him before the race. He's won in the 6 hours of the Glen here a few years ago. So he knows how to win here. He's just never won in Trans Am. So this will be a great result on the East Coast for the West Coaster. And he is going to coast just there to the checkered flag. And Thomas Merrill wins at Watkins Glen here in TA2. And that's a valuable win and could make a huge difference when we get to the count back at Coda for the championship. Are we going down to the wire as we've done with Matos and Merrill in the past? Austin Green takes second place. Rafa Matos does take third. He got ahead of Jake Drew and stays there. Casera fifth. Ben Mayer sixth. Lostowski seventh. Andretti, having gone off on the grass and out of the track for a while, got back into eighth position. Finishes ahead of Boris Said in ninth. And Josh Hurley 10th. So Odrick, look at him pushing Peterson almost off the track. No respect by the NFL man. But and there is Barry Bowes winning in PA. Well, got across the line and you can see he's ahead of Tommy Sheehan. And that was a great result. 11th overall for Bowes, but another win to add to his win on the West Coast just a week ago. And but this is the one he wants to win in. And given that he was, without a tyre at the start of this race, that is a very impressive finish. Well, Abate was right in the thick of it in the 30, that's for sure. She's going to finish in 18th overall, 17th overall, just behind Sabato and Doug Winston. Weisberg 19th and Bruce Raymond crossing the line now in 20th position. So, all sorts of action there at Watkins Glen. Lots of attrition, lots of crashes, but out of it comes Thomas Merrill with another win, his second on the season. Oh, I'm really happy for Thomas Merrill. He works very hard. Even in the autograph session today, he was still poring over the computers before he could sit down and sign a few autographs for the kids and folks that were waiting for him. He's a busy lad, is our Merrill. But he also is an absolute study of the sport. And again, well done in the Pro-Am to Barry Bowes. Tommy Sheehan and Jared Odrick will take third in that one. Well, we don't often have a TA2 race on a Friday, so it's been a little bit of a run around to get everything ready in time. And yeah, it might have upset a few people. And of course, Watkins Glen, never an easy track to set up for, although the conditions have been excellent for racing here. And in a moment, Ben Sissel will head down to Winner's Circle and hear from our top men. And if you're tuning in, don't forget Trans Am will be back with the TA, XGT, SGT and GT Championship on Sunday. We've got a full day of SVRA tomorrow. And so we'll also get qualifying for TA tomorrow. So that yet to be decided. Well, I don't think it will surprise you who we've chosen for our cool move of the race. And it was quite simply just a great piece of driving by Michel Abate to basically avoid what would have been a huge pileup of several cars. Here comes Thomas Merrill. And we welcome our viewers across the United States on MAV TV and wherever you're watching around the world. We welcome you back to Watkins Glen, where Thomas Merrill's just put on a masterclass in the Cube 3 T82 Championship to narrow the gap just a little bit on his arch rival, Rafa Matos. But Matos did what he needed to do. He got third place and just made it basically the least amount of damage, having come from 9th position, I may add. So remember, Thomas Merrill started pole, so he just did his job. The credit should go to Matos from coming from 9th to 3rd right at the end. But don't take anything away. Both race cars, Thomas Merrill and HB Tuners are very much in this hunt for the title. It's far from over. The way the point system is here in Trans Am, you get points for pole, you get points for fastest lap and most laps led. So you can get a big haul of points, especially if you're up the sharp end. And of course, most people in this grid, well, in the oval, will score points. Hats off to Barry Bowes. That was a great victory for him. Well, as soon as that helmet comes off, I'm sure Ben will be ready. But that was an accomplished performance from Thomas Merrill from California. Let's head down to Ben Sissel. He's about to get our winner, Thomas Merrill.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I'm here with Thomas Merrill. And Thomas, we were talking at the grid, and you did everything you needed to do. I know that's got to feel really good.
It does, man. I'll tell you what, one of the best feelings in motorsports is to lead a race and look in your mirror and not see anything. It was pretty awesome there in those closing laps. This is one of the best Mike Cope race cars I've ever driven. The hotter the tires got, the longer we ran, the faster it got. We set the fastest lap of the race 2 laps there before the end. Can't say enough about what this crew has done, and just thinking about my buddy Jason the whole time. Wish he was here.
Yeah, we do too, and I mentioned him in the broadcast, so Bowser, wish you were here. We miss you. But looking at this HP Tuner's car, did this happen early on in the race, or was that something from early? We were wondering about that.
Yeah, this was the first lap scuffle there. I think the 90 was off track, and he was making a hole coming back on. Fortunately, it didn't cost us much other than a little bit of bodywork damage, and not sure what happened to him. I hope it wasn't related, but you know, I thought he was going to be fast. He's that poor guy. Thomas is a good racer, and he's had some rough luck this year.
Unbelievable. Well, Thomas Merrill there in front. Now, the Rafa did finish 3rd, so he had an unbelievable performance. But we're going to come and talk to Pro-Am winner, because unbelievable. So let me talk about this. A few years ago here at Watkins Glen, Andy Lawley cut a tire and had to come in and then go to the back and then come in and win. I never would have thought we'd have somebody spin, have to replace their tire, come in somehow on the lead lap, and then work your way back through the field to win Pro-Am. That's got to feel good.
Oh, it feels fantastic. And maybe I should just always start in the back. It worked for me in Portland. It worked for me pretty good here, too. You know, if I just start in the back, I might not have to go back to the back.
Unbelievable there from the crew at SLR M1. I saw Alan Mincy, who, you know, he knows how to change some tires. Yeah. But maybe it was the new racing apparel from Megan also.
Yeah, I do definitely think that, you know, they know she's there and she's watching, and nobody wants to let Megan down. So I think that might have a little bit to do with the crew's performance. Yep. But they were fantastic today.
Nice job. Well, Barry Bowes, first in Pro-Am. Unbelievable performance. Jonathan, I'm going to send it back up to you.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, always good to hear from Barry Bowes. I don't care where he lives in the country. I thought he is an Austinite because ASIO Data, his company, is based in Austin, Texas. But, yeah, he's now moved down to Tennessee. But that was a excellent performance by him, and likewise Thomas Merrill for victory there. So, confirmation of the results then. Thomas Merrill with the win for HB Tuner's Cope Race Cars. Three-Dimensional Services Group and another Ford Mustang in Pack Forwards 1, 2, and 3 with Austin Green second and Rafa Matos in third. Jake Drew takes fourth place. Good result. And remember, first time here, Casera, Mayer, Lostowski in seventh. Then Adam Andretti eighth. Boris Said Jr. ninth. And Josh Hurley rounding out the top 10 for Greenlight Simulation PCR. Then further down, Barry Bowes wins with PA and just beats Tommy Sheehan in the closing stages. Eric Caton is 13th. Odrick on the podium in PA in 14th overall. Then Doug Peterson, Sabato, Abate, Winston, Raymond, and Weisberg. That's your top 20 from TA2 and a little further down. Schiebel making his debut for Alliance Autosport. Gallagher with that damaged car. Cale Phillips, Annunziata, unfortunately, Quapple, Prochuk, and Ty Young all not finishing the race. Well, I mentioned it earlier, but you've got to think that the coolest move of the race is this by Michelle Abate. How she manages to avoid everybody here. Look, Gallagher hits the back of her. She brakes. He's got damage anyway. And somehow she just turns it all around. That could have ended in a 3, 4, maybe 5 car pileup. But she manages to hold it all together and hold it all together herself. That's a fast corner. Michelle Abate, cool under pressure, and therefore she is our coolest move of the race. So the highlights look like this. Merrill went into the lead. Annunziata tried to go around the outside. Bowes gets turned around. Andretti involved in it. Bowes gets a strip tyre and has to come in. We go under safety. That gives him a bit more time. He comes back out. Merrill gets the restart. Annunziata holding off Drew in third. Bowes back into the fray. Past Weisberg. Siding his way through in the Pro-Am class. Meanwhile, at the front, Annunziata had a mechanical, stops at the bus stop, drops some oil, brings out the safety car. Austin Green gets past Jake Drew. Green on the run against the fellow youngster. And how about this? 4-5-way racing between these guys. Then, at the end, Tommy Sheehan trying to hold off Bowes, but Bowes would get through, and Drew would have to lose out to Matos, but there was no problems for Merrill. Merrill wins at Watkins Glen and closes the championship title chase. Let's head down to Ben Sissel as the podium is about to get underway.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get loud. The Q3 Architecture TA2 Series Jamweed Winner Circle here at Mission Foods Watkins Glen SpeedTour. All right, this crowd is loud. I like that. Who wants a Cube 3 Stress Cube? Boo! Nice. Ooh, Michelle Abate with the catch. Here we go. Let's do this again. Come on now. Boo! Boo! Bowser! Boom! Oh, Bowser can't catch. All right, Nick Middleton, come on out here. Nick Middleton with Cube 3 Architecture, President, CEO. What a race.
What a race it was, yes. Well, great to be back here at Watkins Glen. That was a great 30 laps. Couldn't have asked for a better race with Thomas Merrill winning and watching Rafa basically being patient for the entire race and then finishing on the podium. So congratulations to everybody, all the crew, and all the spectators here today. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
How about that? How about a round of applause for our title sponsor, Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. All right, we're going to start with the Pro-Am. He got out of the car and almost fell down exhausted. He had to come do a drive-through penalty and then basically drive all the way back through the field. In third place, driving his black underwear Ford Mustang with Nitro Motorsports. Let's hear it, Jared Odrick. Now, Jared Odrick from the NFL, and he has a little dance after he sacks the quarterbacks. No, that's only when you win? Oh, he says only when he wins. So you're going to have to come back because only when he wins will he do his special dance. But how about that? Jared Odrick. All right, in second place, driving that beautiful Vixen Cycle Company. Let's hear it, Tom Sheehan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't happen. He spun and had to come in. He spun at the bus stop, or actually was spun at the bus stop, had to come in, change the tire, stayed on the lead lap, had to come back through just like he did a couple weeks ago at Portland to win the race. Let's hear it. Barry Bowes, ASIO Data, M1 Team SLR. Unbelievable to stay on the lead lap like that. Man, what a race. Odrick. Man, I love it. That was a great race. We saw you come through the bus stop. You had to serve that penalty. I'm sure you were heat on high, but then you had a goal and you wanted to be back up here on the podium.
No question. I just had to listen to my crew, just stay focused. You know, Cody was in my head like he is all weekend, guiding me through there. You know, I have a tendency to get hot-headed in the car if something happens to me, and he kept me cool. And so did this cool suit I have underneath this black underwear suit. So felt really good. My family's here supporting me, and nothing felt better. Thank you.
Where's the Odrick family? There they are. Look at that. I like that. Tom Sheehan, man, just doing really well in the Pro-Am. You've been on the podium with us at Watkins Glen a few years ago. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think we had this one kind of handed to us, served up, but that last run just couldn't get pace, and Barry caught us at the end there. Great drive by Barry. Nice job by both these guys to fight their way back up. A lot of cautions, a little mayhem at the beginning. We just stayed clean, and so we got a pretty good car to run next weekend up in Canada.
Nice. How about that? Tom Sheehan, ladies and gentlemen, Ironman. Now, something I want to point out, too, these are like three of our top teams. So you've got Nitro, you've got Cope, and you've got M1, Team SLR. And Barry Bowes, you know, maybe we talked about, maybe you do need to start from the back because you finish really well when you do.
Yeah, I know, driving from the back was not what I wanted to do, but the car, I got to ask the guys whether they treated the tires or something, because it was amazing, and it did everything I wanted it to. It did more than it should, and it was able to get me back up there.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Barry Bowes. Barry, anybody you want to thank?
ASIO Data, Megan, the crew, Team SLR, those guys did the fastest tire change out there. They got the, Team SLR brought in the guys from NASCAR, that little series, and they know what they're doing. And without them, I wouldn't be here. Thank you.
Exactly. How about that, Barry Bowes? He's talking about like the likes of like Alan Mincy, who's won some championships in the NASCAR Cup Series. All right, get loud. Watkins Glen right now. Jared Odrick, Tom Sheehan, Barry Bowes, Cube 3 Architecture here at the Mission Foods Watkins Glen SpeedTour. All right, let's see what kind of arms they have. Who wants a Cube 3 Stress Cube? Get a picture first, Chris, and then you guys can throw them out. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, pressure's on, guys. Let's see what you got. All of them are right-handed. Ooh. Whoa. That was a good toss there, Odrick. Right at him. All right, Watkins Glen, come on now, get loud. You see how hard they work to be up here in the Pro-Am. Unbelievable performance. Get loud, Watkins Glen. Jared Odrick, Tom Sheehan, Barry Bowes. Now remember, we're racing to Canada next weekend. Hope you have a good dry cleaners. Go for it. Jared Odrick, Tom Sheehan, Barry Bowes. right into the eyes. That might actually feel kind of good. All right, come on, Watkins Glen, one more time. Hey, nice job. Nice job, Barry. Unbelievable. Tom, nice job, man. TA2 National Masters. This guy is just making a run for it, running in this beautiful Bruce B. Miller camouflage car, because Bruce, one of our dear friends, photographer that's been out here helping all of us out, is a Vietnam veteran. He gave me his Vietnam veteran pin to put up in my truck, still up in my truck, but we lost him this year right before Sebring. But our TA2 National Masters goes to Doug Peterson, three-dimensional services group. Unbelievable. And I got to give it up for this Trans Am champion of Doug Peterson. The three-dimensional services group, Doug, has done so much for us. The Trans Am Series, I know that you're competing in Xfinity so much this year, and Austin's doing so great in that, and it's great to have you guys back. But thank you so much for all that you've done with us.
He's not doing that great.
Oh, man.
He hasn't won anything yet.
Oh, he was so close to Sonoma, though. So how was your race out there?
You know, my race was great. I saw a lot of people spinning out, running into each other. I might have even gotten pushed on that last lap just a little bit, but fantastic. The track is amazing. Our car setup wasn't 100%, but I loved every minute of it.
So do you feel like when you're running a camouflage car that the other cars just can't see you?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, you used to be in a bright yellow car, but with this one, maybe they're not seeing you.
Yeah, I still really do miss Bruce. He was a crazy guy, and we really got along well.
Great guy. How about that? Chris, do we need him on the top step? Or Doug, do you mind going on the top step? There you go. How about that? Doug Peterson, ladies and gentlemen, three-dimensional services group. Doug Peterson is just one of those team owners, drivers that has done so much for the series. Hold on, Doug, we got a hat dance. This isn't your first time up here, man. Come on now. Oh. One more time, Doug Peterson, three-dimensional services group, TA2 Masters. Nice job. Now, you know Austin Green's mom is here. You okay with those comments, Mom? She says, yeah, thumbs up. She's fine with it. Nice job, Doug. TA2, Cube 3 Architecture, TA2 Series. The championship has been crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, our points leader, I think he started like 9th and was able to just methodically move his way up. He told me at the grid he didn't want to do anything to take himself out of the race, and he did just that. Really good points race for him. Concord American flagpole. Let's hear it. Rafa Matos, Nitro Motorsports, third place. The most winning driver in TA2 history. So, Rafa, nice job, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy has been with us the last 2 or 3 seasons, always really fast, always in the hunt for our young guns. But this year he thought he'd go do some races in Xfinity and come do a few with us. And whenever he does, he puts on a show. Three-dimensional services group. Let's hear it. Austin Green. And then I don't know how he does it. He's there with the points. These two seem to go at it at the end of the season in championship hunts. Ladies and gentlemen, starting from first, I think he got the fastest lap. I think he may have broken a record here in TA2. Let's hear it. HP Tuners, Mike Cope Race Cars, Thomas Merrill. And again, I want to point out how competitive this season and this series is. So we've got Nitro Motorsports, we've got Three-Dimensional Services Group, and we've got Mike Cope Race Cars, HP Tuners right here. 3 different top teams up here on the podium with us. Rafa, you did exactly what you thought. And when you were there fighting Jake Drew and you were in 4th place, I didn't know if you would take any kind of risks. I didn't think you would take a risk because I thought you'd be pretty happy with that. But when it came to you, you just went for it, didn't you?
Yeah, we had to, right? We had sort of a rough qualifying this morning, but we took a big swing with the car setup. Hats off to my crew chief, Mark Durgin, did an amazing job. And every single member of the team, Nitro Motorsports, The whole team works really well together, and hats off to Concord American Flag Pole, Chris Dyson, believing in this program. It was a good race for us. We had to push early on. I had to kind of take my time, in the middle of the race, wait to burn some fuel in the car to regain some balance. But at the end, I think we had a pretty good pace. Kept the pressure on Jake Drew. He made a mistake in the last corner. We went side by side in turn 1. I was able to make the move. Went after Austin. I think we had, enough to get him if we had a couple more laps. But, I don't think we had enough for the number 26 today. This car was just a lot faster. And, but just a good result overall for us. I think it's going to take a lot of, thirds and fourth place to win the championship. If we win and climb on the podium is just a big bonus for us.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Rafa Matos, 3rd place. Then we come over here to Austin Green. Austin, really missed you at the races that you haven't been at, but man, the races that you come to, you guys put on a great show. Tell us about your race out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been working on a bunch of things all weekend, and kind of had a little bit of trouble in qualifying, so started 8th, and all the guys at Peterson Racing and 3 Dimensional Service Group made a lot of good changes, so just had to stay out of all the trouble and be there at the end, and just can't thank Doug Peterson enough for allowing me to do this, and we come back here in 3 weeks with Xfinity, so I've got a little bit of extra laps, so hopefully we can continue our success there.
Nice. How about that? Austin Green with some seat time. And please, if you're coming back here with Xfinity, you need to be rooting for this guy, Austin Green. Now, somebody bring me up Bowser. Come on now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Bowser. He's always the crew chief with Thomas Merrill. Couldn't be here. This is actual size, by the way. But, Thomas, I know you kind of dedicated this to Bowser, who couldn't be here with us this weekend.
Yeah, man, I was thinking about Jason the whole race long, how much he would enjoy being here and seeing that in person. I know he's watching on TV, probably enjoying it and helping him think about something else for a change. He's had a tough week, but I'll tell you, it was an honor to drive this race car today. That was one of the best race cars I've ever driven. It just kept getting better, and the proof's in the pudding in the lap time and the performance. So big thanks to the crew for giving me a heck of a race car.
How about that? Thomas Merrill up here. Now let's talk to Bowser. Bowser, how was the race? Yeah, man, a few words is Bowser. Here you go. Thank you so much. Come on now, let's hear it. Thomas Merrill, HP Tuners. There we go. I like this crowd, Watkins Glen. Keep it up, but I need you guys a little bit louder. Just a scotch. So hold those up, the Cube 3 stress cubes. Yeah. How about that? Now throw those things out there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Ooh, ooh. All right, now, here we go. Thomas Merrill, catch. All right, we've got these great Pirelli teddy bears. Get loud, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a collectible Pirelli teddy bear, you guys are able to throw those out, give those out, whoever you want. There we go. Oh, Tyler Cassez, Dad caught one. Michelle Abadi with the hands. And then Rafa Matos, there we go. How about that? All right, guys, hold those trophies up. We need the Pirelli hats, right, Chris? Anybody want a Sunoco hat? Boo! Oh, Nick Middleton. Come on now. Here's who wants Rafa's. Boo! Ooh. Just damaging cars out here. All right, Watkins Glen coming down to the last chances. Let's get loud. Rafa Matos, Austin Green, Thomas Merrill, Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. Wait. Mom, is he old enough? This is the first. I think this is the first this season that every driver in TA2 has been old enough for some champagne. So let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Watkins Glen going right at it. And we are racing next weekend in Canada. See, look at that. Austin Green able to do the champagne now. Congratulations. How about that, Watkins Glen? Hey, nice job. Don't go too far, Thomas. What did you say? Happy for 2 years. He says he's been able for 2 years, so sorry about that, Mom. Our cool move of the race. She was in the thick of it the whole time. Coolbox is our iceless cooling system. So the Coolbox cool move of the race goes to Michelle Abadi. Ghost Energy, Lucas Oil, Nitro Motorsports. Jimmy live on the scene, you got to love that. All right, Michelle, how did you stay cool out there? Because you were in the thick of it. You kept coming to your in-car, and there were always 2 or 3 cars in front of you, smoking, spinning, just doing everything.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. This race I stayed cool with Ghost Energy because I actually didn't have any cool system in my car, so we're going to give Cool Box a check out because it was pretty hot in there, and if you can't win the race, you might as well look cool, right? So I'm really glad to be out there. I have to thank Nitro Motorsports, gave me a great car. I didn't know, is the award for the pirouette or was it for passing 4 cars in 11? Because I don't know.
I think it was, well, you passed 4 cars in 11, then you got punted at 1.
So I should get 2 of these. Yeah, okay.
Now, is this a new flavor? I haven't seen that before.
This is the brand new Ghost Energy Welch's Grape. Came out. Actually, it comes out September. Wait, what day is it? Yeah, it's out. Go get the Ghost Energy because I wouldn't be racing without them. Thanks, guys.
Nice. How about that? Michelle Abadi. Chris, are we good? Wait, Michelle, hold on. That's my fault. I called you off too quick, and hold that up, Michelle, the suit. Sorry, Chris, my fault. Now, ladies and gentlemen, stick around because not only do you get all this, you get all that and a bag of chips. So if anybody wants some Mission chips, please come up after this. Our Omo Legato Watch fastest lap. I believe he set a record here with TA2. Let's go, Thomas Merrill, Cope Race Cars, HP Tuners. Ardex? So hold that watch up there, Thomas. You got that, Chris? All right, Thomas, congratulations. How about that, Thomas Merrill? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're free to come up here, get a bag of chips. If you want to bring one of these Cube 3 stress cubes home, that does it for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series at Watkins Glen. We will be back here next year, Michael, at the normal time, correct? At the normal time. How about that? Come up here for family photos. But the TA race is happening this weekend, too, so stick around. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
And our thanks to Ben Sissel for doing the podium and getting the interviews and hearing the stories of what was a storied TA2 race from Watkins Glen. Never disappoints, and we can get a chance to see it all again. Don't forget, on MAV TV. That's Thursday, August 29th. That's this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be the highlights of the race you just saw, TA2. And the highlights of the TA, XGT, SGT, and GT race, which takes place on Sunday, will also be on Thursday night on MAV TV, straight after the TA2 at 9 p.m. So that's your night for Trans Am Racing, Thursday nights on MAV TV. Well done again to Thomas Merrill. He takes a few points out of Rafa Matos, but the mighty Matos is getting ever closer to that 3rd title. But there's always a twist in the tail. That's how we like it in Trans Am. From all of us here, our thanks to Greenlight Television. We'll be back with more. But thanks for tuning in to watch the Muscle Cars of America of TA2, the Cube 3 Architecture Series. Good is this? Look at this view from Lostowski.
It brings all my fans It brings the audience into the car with me.
Speed turn, 140 mile an hour entry speed.
The quickest and most efficient way for me to get information to my drivers is from using the V-Box HD2 system.